Hi, let's learn one of the most cheerful guitar rhythm that is out there. This comes from the flamenco tradition of Spain and this is called flamenco rumba rhythm. And today I will show you the very basic version of that rhythm and it sounds like this. Let's learn it. This is basically played with your finger and there are 8 strokes to this rhythm. The first stroke is a down stroke with your thumb. You play it like this. And then the second stroke is up stroke with your thumb and you play like this. Third stroke is a down stroke by combining your middle and ring finger and you play it like this. Fourth stroke is again an upstroke with your thumb. So far the 4 strokes are downstroke with your thumb, then upstroke with your thumb, then downstroke combining your middle and ring finger like this, then an upstroke with your thumb. So that is the first 4 stroke. The 5th stroke is basically a slap with your palm like this. 6th is again an upstroke with your middle and ring finger combined like this. And the 7th is downstroke combining your middle and ring finger like this. And the 8th stroke is by using your thumb and upstroke. So all the strokes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, now how can you learn it? First, don't care about the sound of the chord, just mute all the strings and practice the right hand movement. So do all these movement, okay? Then when you are comfortable with your right hand movement, then you can play that with chords. The basic version of chord that you can use are A minor, G major, F major and E minor. You can also play the A minor and the G major chord in the open position like this. Okay, so when you have somewhat mastered the right hand movement and the left hand chord, it may sound like this. But this is very flat and robotic and boring. You need that groove, that rhythmic feeling which sounds something like this. There needs to be some kind of sway kind of feeling, okay? How do you do that? You do that by accenting the first and the 5th stroke. What is the meaning of accenting? Accenting means basically playing those 2 strokes with little bit of more volume. How do you create more volume? By attacking the string little bit harder. As I have said, the first stroke is a down stroke by the thumb. When you are executing that first stroke, try to play it little bit harder compared to the next 3 strokes, which is the 2nd, 3rd and 4th. So when you are playing with accent, when you are accenting the first stroke, it is going to look like this. See, I am accenting, I am playing the first stroke little bit harder with little bit more force in order to create more volume. And then you accent the slap. Again, look carefully. If I play all the stroke with same volume, it will sound like this. But what I am doing here, when I am accenting only the first and the fifth stroke, I am doing this. I hope it is clear. You play the first and the fifth stroke a little bit harder. And when you do that, then you sort of create this sense of rhythm, which is first stroke kind of mimics a kick drum, which is that sound. And the fifth stroke, it kind of mimics the snare drum, which sounds like so that sound is the first stroke, and that sound is the fifth stroke, which is the slap. It kind of mimic that snare drum. If I show that in this cajon, then it will be like this is the first stroke and this is your fifth stroke. So you create that groovy rhythm when you accent the note. Okay, so it sounds like this. Now a final point I would like to share, which is first, when you are learning this rhythm with your finger, think of these 8 strokes as individual 8 hand movements which are disconnected from one another. Okay, so this is your first stroke, this is second stroke, 8 finger movements which are disconnected from one another. That's how you first think about it when you are learning this, okay, the basic strokes. But after you have practiced it for a while and you can play it quite satisfactorily, then you need to think about your right hand movement like a continuous change in your hand gesture. What I mean by that is that when you are playing the first stroke, don't just think about your thumb, think about your hand too. How the position of your hand is changing, or the gesture of your hand is changing, how your hand is moving and assuming a different kind of posture at the end of a stroke. So after you create this first stroke, notice that my hand is rotating and the thumb is now placed below all these strings. Okay, and so essentially now it is ready to execute the second stroke. So every preceding stroke ends in such a way that it automatically prepares your hand to create the next stroke. After the second stroke, look, your hand rotates in this way and it gets prepared to create the third stroke, which is this stroke. As you do the third stroke, your hand again rotates. Don't just do this like this. While you are attacking the string with the middle and ring finger, also try to rotate your hand like this, so that at the end of the third stroke, now your thumb is below all these strings to create the fourth stroke. As you create the fourth stroke, which is an up stroke with the thumb, when you are doing that, try to fan out all your finger, because the fifth stroke is going to be a slap, if you remember. So the movement is going to be like this. As you do the up stroke, which is the fourth stroke, you also try to fan out the finger in order to open your hand to create that palm slap, which is the fifth stroke. Now as you do the fifth stroke, now your hand is in a perfect position to execute the sixth stroke, which is the combined upward movement with your middle and ring finger, like this. And when you do that, now you are ready to create the seventh stroke, which is this. As you do that, again your hand comes into this position and your thumb gets ready to create the eighth and the final stroke. So if I summarize the whole video, the whole rhythm comprises of 8 strokes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. First, practice those 8 strokes, thinking about them independent of each other. Get a feel of how the right hand actually feels when you are playing the rhythm. First, it's going to be very confusing even after you have created the first stroke. you will have to think about how to do the second stroke. It will be that problematic and the first. Don't get disheartened. Your hand will naturally learn the thing, okay? It will get imprinted in your muscle memory. There is no other way to really master it without practicing it, okay? So you have to practice a lot. So after, let's say you have a satisfactory level of grip of the right hand, then you can introduce the chords, which may sounds like this, and after that try to accent the first stroke and the fifth stroke in order to create really that rhythmic groovy feeling from the robotic 8 stroke. If you do not accent certain stroke or certain beats, then it is not going to have that rhythmic groovy feeling which you actually want in the sound when you are actually trying to play it in a song or enjoying the rhythm, okay? So now you know the right hand, how it feels. You can play with the left hand chords and try to do it with A minor, G, F, E with that progression, and then accent the first stroke and the fifth stroke. And after you have done that, this may take you maybe 1 week or 3 days based on how much you practice. But after that, try to think of your right hand movement as a continuous change in gesture, and that way you will create that fluid effect in your right hand. What do I mean by that? If you are thinking of these 8 strokes as individual strokes like 1, 2, 3, 4, there will be no continuity between 2 strokes. Like your hand needs to kind of dance. It will look like this when you are playing good, and I hope I play good. It will look like this. See, it's like your hand is dancing. You are not thinking about all those 8 strokes as different strokes. So this is the final way of playing it. And yeah, so this was very basic lesson about this basic version of the Rumba rhythm. There are many different versions, and in future videos I will try to cover those. Let me know how this video was, and if you have any question, so yeah, give your suggestion in the comment section and let me know if you want any other tutorial videos like this. Thank you.